Good morning. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to interact with a text file. And I'll have a text file opened. And the context of the text file is as follows. We have a name of a person, Ash Washington, gender male. We have the date of birth, 2006-06-17. And we have their height, 170. And the data is separated with a hashtag. What we want to do is split the data and transfer it into an array. Now I have a GUI already set up, as you can see. And the first button, we're just going to display the data. We're not going to split the data. We're going to link to the text file. And the name of the text file is names.dob. So if you look at my code, so firstly, we're going to check if the text file exists. So we have if file exists and the name of the text file is names.dob.txt. Then the first thing we're going to do is assign file. We're linking the logical file name, fname, which I've declared in Delphi. Fname is of type text file. And we're linking it to the physical file name, names.dob.txt. Next thing is I'm going to do is reset the text file. And that will open the text file for reading purposes. We're going to run a loop from the beginning to the end of the text file. While not end of file fname do begin. We're going to read a line. And then we're going to display it on our GUI component called rich edit 1. Once we've done that, we end the loop. And then we will close the text file. Now I have an if statement, if it exists. So the else part is catering for if the text file does not exist, it will display a message file does not exist. So if we run this program and I click on display data, you'll notice I have all the contents from the text file being displayed on my GUI component. So in the next button, we're going to be looking at how we actually split the data. Now, if we look at the contents of the data, so I'm going to just take one line just to illustrate the point. So the contents is Ash, Washington, hashtag male, hashtag date of birth, hashtag 170 for height. So for us to get Ash Washington out, we're going to read the contents into a variable called sline. So it's going to be sitting in sline. And then we're going to find the position of the hashtag. So we're going to say hash pos is assigned position of the hashtag. So it'll find the position of the first hashtag. And then what we're going to do is copy from sline, which is this entire line, starting position 1, which is A, and it'll copy just before the hashtag position. So it will copy the entire name. And it will copy out Ash Washington. Now, if you look at the next line of code, I'm now deleting. I'm saying from S line, start deleting from position 1 to the hash pos. So it will delete up till the hashtag. So the new contents of S line will be male, hashtag date of birth, hashtag. You'll notice the name has now disappeared from S line because we've already stored the name in a variable called sname. Now to get male out, we can repeat the process. So Control C. If we repeat this process, so we start again, hash pos, finds the position of the hashtag. Then we will start copying. Now we're going to copy the gender. So we call that gender. As gender is assigned, it starts copying from position 1, which is M, till hash pos -1, which will be just before the hash tag, which will be male. So it'll copy out male and it'll store it in a variable called sGender. And then the next line of code says delete from S line. It starts deleting from position 1 to the hash pos. So if we do the delete now, it will delete mail and the hashtag. So we're left with the DOB and the height. So now if we repeat this process, okay, let's take it from there. Hash pos, if we find the position of the hash pos again, and then we start copying. Now we're going to copy the SDOB. We start copying from position 1 till hash pos -1. It will copy SDOB. That's what it'll do. And then the next line says delete from position 1 till the hash pos. So if we delete now till the hash pos, we're left with 170, which is the height. So at the end of this process, the height will be S line after we've done all the deletion. So that's what we're going to implement in our Delphi code. So if we go to the button called split, okay, what you see here is I cleared my GUI and then assign file. We're linking our logical and our physical file name. Reset, we're opening the file name. Then while not end of file, we're running a loop. So we readln, get the S line, and there's the process start. We find the position of the hashtag. We copy S name, as I explained, and then we delete up till the hash pos. So the name would have been deleted from S line. Then we start the process again, find the position of the hashtag. We copy the gender from position 1 till the new hash pos. And then we delete. Now this will now delete the gender and the hashtag. And then now we find the position of the hash pos again. Then we copy the DOB. And then we delete the DOB and the hash pos. And whatever will be left will be the height. And S line is assigned, S height is assigned S line. At the end, we're going to output the S name, S gender, S DOB, and S height. So if we run that, and we say, okay, there's all our data came through. Now if we say button split, you'll notice it split all the data, the name, the gender, the DOB, and the height. What we can do next is if we want to transfer the contents to an array. So it's the same code as the previous, but what we can do instead of saying S name, so we readln, we find the hash, but instead of the S name at this stage, we can put into an array. So we can say array names. We have to declare. We don't have a variable, so I'm just going to use K. So before we start, we got to assign K is assigned 1, and I'm going to declare a variable called K, and instead of now just sending it to a variable, it will now go into an array which I've declared on the top. Array names 1 to 100 of string. So I can now put that into an array. But remember, I don't have a for loop, so I got to manually increase the value of K. So before I end, remember we're not going to display. It's now going into an array. I'm going to say increase K. So if we run this and we say transpose to array, so it goes to the array. But remember, I only sent the names. I can have an array to send the gender. I can have an array to send the date of birth. I can have an array to send the height. So I've just catered for the names, and then we can run the last loop, the last GUI to display the array. And that's quite simple. For K is assigned 1 to I, do begin. Actually, I'm going to run this from I. Remember, I had my K running, and K will run 1 extra. So we say K minus 1. This variable should be I. So I've got an array names. Now K has to be declared globally. So I'm going to take out my K from there. And right on the top, I'm going to declare, well, we can declare both I and K. So if we run this, let's see if it works. I've got transpose array, and there all the names are being displayed from the array. Once it's in the array, we can sort it, etc. Thank you.